So this is episode 76 of our AI and Cybersurgery podcast, and we are the only AI and Cybersurgery podcast online within our journal, Artificial Intelligence Surgery, the only journal dedicated to all things AI and surgery. And it's a great pleasure to have Professor Michele Ammendola on our program, our podcast, and he's a professor of surgery in Magna Graecia University in Catanzaro, Italy, in Calabria. So thank you for taking the time on a Saturday to join our podcast, Michele.
So, good morning. Thank you for this invitation. It's a pleasure for me to stay here with you, Vincent. And I was a professor of general surgery at the university, Magna Graecia University in Catanzaro, in the south of Italy. I'm the head of digestive surgery unit, and in our mission, university mission, that is teaching, research, and clinical assistance. We try to perform some different type of research for different pathologies and aspects.
Before we get there, Michele, I would like to know a little bit more where you're originally from, where you're born, where you grew up, and where you did your training, and where you used to work before, and then we'll talk more about what you're doing now. Okay?
Yes, I was born in Reggio Calabria, and my working place is, I told you, my workplace is Magna Graecia University at Catanzaro. During my training, I worked in different places. In Italy, at the National Cancer Institute, Giovanni Paolo II of Bari. I stayed 8 years. And after, always during my training period, I was in IRCAD in Strasbourg, in France, for 4 years, but in different type of the period of the year. So for 3 months, another year for 4 months, so not in continuous.
So Michele, I'm confused. You're from Tuscany?
No, I'm from Reggio Calabria.
Oh, Reggio Calabria. I'm thinking of Reggio. What's the other Reggio?
No, Reggio Emilia.
Okay. Reggio
Calabria. Okay. Yeah, it's at the south of Italy, at the end of the Italy.
Because I was waiting for your Acca, your accent from Tuscany. I was so confused. Okay. Reggio Calabria.
In front of Sicily.
So yeah, of course.
Okay. And during my student period, at the 6 years of my bachelor, I was in Berkeley, California, for 2 months.
Nice.
In University of Berkeley, to looking around, so university health place, so to understand better my future, at the time.
Right.
In this in my career, I make now different types of topics of research, but my principal topics was at the beginning the study of microenvironment in gastrointestinal tumor in general. So in particular, the role of stromal cells, immune stromal cells in microenvironment. So the role of macrophages, lymphocytes, mast cells in the neoangiogenesis and lymphoangiogenesis in microenvironment of the tumor, gastrointestinal tumor. So gastric, colorectal, hepatocarcinoma.
And you did that research where? Are you doing it now, or is this in the past?
In the past, but this is my principal topics of research. I win also an important national project, national on these topics, on colorectal cancer.
Is that the main type of surgery that you like to do, or you do all digestive? What's your main
No, all
surgery?
digestive, but the principal data and important data, we have important data in colorectal cancer, gastric cancer, but also some data was published on hepatocarcinoma and pancreatic cancer also.
Nice.
During my career, I'm dedicated also into another topics of research that is the new technologies in surgery, in health in general, and thank the collaboration with Emirates, with a famous colleague, Dr. Monad Al-Ansari, we performed also some experience with new technologies in surgery, and in particular with the metaverse in surgery. That is a technology where we can put all technologies that we have today. So AI, augmented reality, mixed reality, and important software to build some presentations, some images. So the topics about the 3D planning, 3D reconstruction for planning, for follow-up of the patient. So in this way, in 2023, we created the first metaverse hospital USA in surgery, and we performed the first surgery in metaverse, because we
In the United
project
States? Really? I didn't know
in the
that.
United from our hospital, from our real hospital
Yeah.
to metaverse. The license of the metaverse hospital is USA. The
So
license.
okay. Where's that United States? Where's the hospital in America?
Yeah,
Where's
the name. Yes, the name is Metaverse Hospital USA, because the license was released from USA, from Dubai. I don't know why, what is the link, but from this, because I think that in Dubai there are many different private clinic, American private clinics, so I don't know. I don't remember, but there are Canadian clinic and other clinic from American groups. I don't know which particular.
So this is good, because I too, even though I've been to the Metaverse Hospital, I participated in a conference that we held with the journal. I would still like us all to better define and explain to anybody who's listening what a Metaverse Hospital is. What are the benefits? What is the purpose of it? And what is the potential in the future?
Yeah. The metaverse, I think that the platform of metaverse is better because it's different from the other platforms. So this is the same Zoom, for example, no, or Google Meet, because we can do in the same times more functions. So we can discuss. So the importance of the metaverse is represent the importance of the communication in health. So in different way, in different places of the world, we can communicate together in the same place, and we can share different many types of document of functions. So we can share 3D reconstruction, presentation, scientific presentation, live surgery for telementoring. So laparoscopic surgery, is important for verbal telemetry. Robotic surgery, for example, is important the practical telementoring, because we know that if we connect robotic console remotely, we can do some steps of the surgery. So we can translate this in practical telemetry, and I think that is the unique platform where we can do this.
So that's interesting, because when we did the conference, it's interesting that you mentioned it's like doing Zoom or like doing Google, because I mean we can still do those functions where I can open up a screen and show everybody my screen, which is what we did during the Metaverse conference. But the main difference I saw was that there is like an avatar. You have an avatar that can walk around in the conference.
Personification.
Is that, I mean,
It is another function, is important as a function, that is the personification. So the central point is the communication and the possibility of the real communication as in person. So we can do different functions in the same times as in person. And I think that is a unique model, because with Google Meet, Zoom, we can do some function, but not all function in the same time.
I saw something. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I saw something interesting the other day. It looked at the amount of time that an 18-year-old going forward will have, for work, for sleep, for whatever, and then at the end was free time. And they showed like, a whole chunk for free time. And of free time, they showed that 18-year-olds today, 93% of their free time will be in front of a screen. So it's like I'm talking to you and thinking about that number. I'm getting it better, the metaverse, because people are so living in their screens that it seems still foreign to me that people will need to find a doctor on their screen, if you will, or what have you. But that's where we're headed, Vincent, I guess. More and more we're headed. Metaverse isn't even like a possibility. It's already happening, and it's the future, which is terrifying to say the least. What do you think, Vincent?
Yeah, it's in 2005, I had my surgical practice in something called Second Life. It was the first metaverse, and it was an early attempt to do what we're talking about now, which was allow someone to interact with a range of services and get information that looked realistic in a virtual space called a metaverse, which has gotten now very sophisticated. And Michele references the one down at Methodist Hospital, right, at the DeBakey Center down there, which has taken the lead on this whole space. But you're right, people are going to be immersed in an environment where they're in front of a monitor, right, whether it's a headset or wherever it is, and it depersonalizes, I think, interaction, right, because you interact with a virtual space, not a touch and feel emotional reality space. It has interesting implications for patient care.
I was at a meeting for the European Society of Organ Transplantation. We're organizing a meeting in Prague in 2027, and they asked me to help be on the scientific program committee. And there was an ethicist that I met there, and I was talking to her about autonomous actions and robotics and everything, and I was kind of hoping or assuming this ethicist would agree with what I was saying, which was that, we always want a surgeon in the loop. We always want that connection. I would think that almost a non-surgeon would want that even more, but she said the exact opposite of what I expected. She said, just like with trains that went from like, being run by a human to being automated, like, which isn't a perfect comparison, but back then people thought like, oh, it'd be a disaster. People won't have jobs. The world's going to fall apart. And of course, now we have automated trains all the time. But it blows my mind how eager people are. But one of the things that I love about AI is that it's going to give us doctors time to talk with our patients. So I'm happy for AI to take away some of the mundane things and give me more time to explain to patients, because people forget the origin of the word doctor is teacher. And really I think our main goal, or one of our main goals should be to explain what is happening to a patient as a human. But I wonder if the metaverse is going to give us more time to have a human to human interaction or less time. Michele, what do you think? Have you been using the metaverse with patients? Have you already been seeing patients through the metaverse?
Yeah, I think that is a good solution for example, for learning, sure, but also for multidisciplinary evaluation. So today we don't have at disposition every professional figure, so the surgery pathologists, the radiologists, so in the same times, for example. So I think that is a good idea, a good solution to solve this problem. Also, another focus is the topics of second opinion. So if I have I want a second opinion from the best surgeon or the best cardiologist or the best
whatever
type of doctor. I can do this in at my home, no? So
without spending thousands of dollars to travel and everything. So
I think that in this way is a good solution, because we have to say an important thing, that where there is a good communication, there is a good health. And it is to be understood between colleagues, between doctors, between patients and doctors, and between doctors and parents, and between doctors and the management of the hospital. So in this case, we know that a good communication improves the outcomes of the patients and reduce the cost of the hospital. So in this way, I think that is a good solution. And we have demonstrated these results in research field, because this concept has been already proven in research. Because until the researchers were divided and looked in their rooms, the progress was slow. After, with the introduction of translational research method, with the Skyway, the bidirectional bridge from branch to bed and from bed to branch, today we have an infinite amount of knowledge and information who transformed medicine from evidence-based medicine to tailored therapy to today in precision medicine. So with the multidisciplinary evaluation of the patient, each with their skills.
So Michele, just so I can understand something, Vincent, so how is the metaverse different from telemedicine? I understand telemedicine, or even, connectivity, improved communication between doctors, patients, different specialists, that I get. But how is that, and how would you define that? I love definitions, as opposed to the metaverse.
So the telemedicine is generally a point-to-point interaction between a provider and a patient, or in a video conference setting, where there's the communication between the two is verbal, it's personalized. It doesn't have access to all the systems of record that the metaverse does. The metaverse is kind of the opposite, which is imagine you had access to the encyclopedia, all the encyclopedias. You have access to all that data. And as you're talking to me, you can access it and pull up information to show me about something, all the different things that you wanted to discuss.
Well, you could open up a window, and while you're talking to a patient, you could open up ChatGPT or what have you, and you could have that. Why could you not have that on a Zoom with a patient? And more importantly, tell me about a tumor board with everyone on a Zoom call together. How would you define that?
So everybody on a tumor board has access to information related to only that activity, the clinical related data to discuss the tumor about that patient. It doesn't have access to other systems of record that it may want to discuss because it wasn't configured that way. So the metaverse is multi-point connection to lots of systems of record, and the connectivity ability of pulling what you want. So think of ChatGPT on steroids, with visual, with avatars, also with with the structure. So for example, if you're going to send a patient to the radiologist department in Michele's hospital, and they live in a town outside Catanzaro, you could actually help them navigate through GPS and mapping how they would get there, a map of the building, what the room's going to look like, right? That's all personalized. So that's different than a telemedicine or a video conference session.
Okay, so we have three things now. We have telemedicine, patient, doctor. We have teleconference, a tumor board, and a metaverse is basically that the teleconference on steroids. I like that.
But there is also another reason, because today in the health, the clinical practice is based on the new concept that is defined the design thinking in healthcare, a concept that underlines the importance of a multidisciplinary collaboration to solve a complex problem. So all start from a brainstorm from one of the team members that needs to be discussed, presenting solution and put into clinical practice in practice for the care of the patient. And in this way, metaverse, the new technology, metaverse is very, very important because is an effective technology because we have advantage into the group. So we can personify, share 3D reconstruction, presentation, videos, 3D reconstruction for planning, for follow-up, telementoring, and verbal telementoring, and practical telementoring. And is an efficient technology because we have advantages outside the group, so reducing the cost of human and economic resource.
So, the metaverse, we've heard a lot about it. Vincent, you're telling me it's been around for over 21 years, but I haven't seen that much penetration of the metaverse, Michele. What do you see as the barriers? You've been a champion of the metaverse. It looks like you finally got that paper accepted on the metaverse, no? So, what barriers do you see to implementation? Why are surgeons and other doctors not embracing it more rapidly? What do you think's going on?
Yes, yeah, I know that for the next 10 years, from 2023 to 2034, we have an implementation of financing investments only for metaverse in surgical metaverse market. So only for metaverse in surgery of a computed growth amounted at 30%. So we have an important investment in this way only for metaverse in surgery, for application, for finality, for the use of the technologies. And this is very important because we know that there is an important tension for these technologies. And we published a different original article. We published on updates in surgery, Asian Journal of Surgery, and lecture note in computer science with the Italian Society of Endoscopy Surgery and New Technologies. And now is under review. Original work submitted to AME Surgical Innovation, another important journal. So I think that there is an important growth, in this way, and for these technologies. I think sure for learning, communication, and telemetry. And I think that after, I hope that will be other development for other, because not only for surgery, general surgery.
Yeah, of course, for all the other specialties. But Vincent, sorry, Michele, go ahead.
Okay.
So Vincent, you used one of the earlier versions, right, 20 years ago. So you can imagine there's been incredible changes and advancements since then. Nonetheless, how much metaverse do you see actually out there? How many people are actually using it? What are the barriers you're thinking right now? Is it a problem from doctor adoption? Is it a problem from patient adoption? Is there just not enough investment in it? because the technology is there. So what do you think is going on?
There's a good point. So 20 years ago, the barriers were technical. There was no real broadband didn't really exist. Internet speeds were slow. Processing was slow. VR was slow. It was all primitive. And the user experience wasn't good. And you had no buy-in from enterprises because the metaverse is an enterprise environment. A doctor by himself or herself doesn't have the gravitas to build a metaverse. A healthcare system has to engage. So in New Jersey, there's really no healthcare systems that are actively involved in the metaverse because a system would have to be involved, like Summit Health or these big systems would have to contribute a lot of resources from their system into the metaverse so they could participate. So doctors can participate so long as the enterprise around them invests and delivers the content that's required. So it's an enterprise expensive play. And that's been so now the technical has been solved, but you still have the business issues that block it. And Michele's doing cool things in Italy, and they seem to be moving very fast, at least on the surgical front. But you have to have enterprise buy-in. It's expensive. And at the end of the day, you still need patients to engage, and the user experience has to be good and worthwhile. So it takes a lot to lift it, to get it going, like building an aircraft carrier. You have to build the whole thing. You can't build a piece of it. And that's been part of the challenge. But we've made a lot of progress. And I think the next 10 years, as Michele mentioned, is going to be the tipping point.
So, Michele, have you noticed, have you been getting patients, international patients through the metaverse, or have your patients been sent elsewhere? Have you seen it, just for lack of a better expression, have you seen it generate money for healthcare systems?
Yes, really, the telemedicine in general, no, is going in this way because we can.
No, but I want to know about the metaverse. I know telemedicine works, that I know, but I want to know specifically the metaverse.
This is the same, the real example because yes, in metaverse we can organize virtual reality, as a real hospital. So you have the visiting room, operating room, virtual operating room, a virtual visiting room. So we can do a medical visit, so second opinion or first visit, and we can share clinical details of the patients. So we can visit, and after we can
how many patients have you seen in the metaverse? Like how many do you see a month or in a year?
Yeah, I'm person one or two, three patients, but only for example for scientific demonstration.
Right.
But in Emirates, there is a real waiting list of the patient.
Wow.
that they can visit and after can perform the surgery in a different hospital because it's the same to create an international waiting list. So where the patient can decide the place to surgery. So I don't know if there is a waiting list very long in I don't know in USA. The patient can decide to visit on the metaverse with a booking surgeon,
Yeah.
and decide to perform surgery, I don't know, in the Emirates, in France, in Italy, in different places. So this is an upgrade, of telemedicine. There are some different functions, I repeat, where the patient with the personification, for example, can be really and can be satisfied.
No, I mean I get the concept. Trust me. I used to work part-time at the American Hospital Tbilisi in the Republic of Georgia, and so I'd be part-time there and I'd be part-time back in France. And when I had to organize to see a patient through telemedicine, the amount of time it did to set it up and what have you, was very long, very cumbersome. The ability to look at the images was very difficult. They had to send the images to me. I had to get the right program so I could download the images. Very, very time consuming. If there was a platform that you could get this streamlined and you could do it somehow quickly, and it sounds like it already exists, but is there some kind of how would one join the metaverse right now if they wanted to be part of the a metaverse clinic, or is it the metaverse clinic? Are there multiple metaverse clinics, or is there one? Like, how does someone interested in being a part of it, or even for a patient and a doctor, what are the steps that you would suggest?
I think that every hospital can have a metaverse hospital, a virtual hospital. Sure, but the very function, the very rule, I think that in World Vision, I think that the importance of the telemedicine or particular telemedicine with different function to perform specific mission. So this is an example. So an international waiting list is very important because I don't know the American system, but I think that there is a performance, a cost of a performance, a price of a performance with assurance. No, in Emirates, in France, we can do the same performance, surgical performance, with different type of cost and waiting list. So we can create an important different for the health.
So Michele, we have 4 minutes, so I want to just give you and Michele, you and Vincent a last chance to talk. But I was just thinking, what are the legal aspects of this? And we'll finish with this concept. If I am physically in France, but I'm seeing a patient from Dubai, where do I need a medical license in Dubai if I'm physically in France, or does my medical license in France cover me? How do you get around that? What's the issue there? Do you need a license in both places? So we'll start with Michele. What's your understanding?
Yeah, legal aspects are the problem of these technologies, but Strasbourg Court expressed to this concept and said that the legal aspect is the same of the country, of the metaverse hospital, of the surgical performance. So in this way, we have a specific sentence of Court of Strasbourg for international.
But I'm just talking about the consultation, because if you're an oncologist and you recommend a chemotherapy and you're in France, but they give the chemotherapy in Dubai and there's a complication, and they want to sue somebody, what happens there? Vincent, maybe you have some thoughts. What do you think's going on? What would happen?
Yeah, so that's part of at least in the US, it's very difficult to do interstate consultation without a license per state. Some countries, they don't have that complexity, but at the end of the day, it is a legal issue that has to be bridged about who takes the risk of providing the consultation and in what jurisdiction is it taking place. That's part of the complexity of this whole, of breaking boundaries down to deliver care. There's the legal consequences that take place, and it remains complicated. It's not an easy fix.
Yeah. Well, Michele, this was great. It sounds like we have about 90 seconds left, so I'll let you finish us off.
Yeah, because just for consideration, because I think that the legal aspects are important, but we have an important interest also and a strong interest from space agency around the world, because the research is going in two directions to create a dedicated health network, satellite network for medicine, for health. So I think that in the future we break this problem.